Okay, here we are. Got my drink. Oh, what a long day at work. Ugh. Doing everything else. I'm just glad to come home and play some video games and see what's going on. Well, I haven't touched World of Tanks in a while, so let's see what they're up to. I come home to this shit. Ugh. I'm getting so sick and tired of seeing tier 10 prems. What is the point of them? Honestly, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Oh, jeez, Wargamer! Hello, everybody. My name is FistofFury692, and, well, as you can see by the opening of this video, we're going to talk about tier 10s and 9 premium tanks. The bane of my existence of basically why, as you can tell by the beginning intro of this video. 10s and 9s always fascinate me in World of Tanks. The ability to say to people and say, here's $100, go play a tank that doesn't have much value as an 8. So, what is like tier 10s and 9s premium tanks? What is the problem with it, Fury? Well, if you know me from a tank reviewer for such a long time, they have their own problems. I mean, not only being the most expensive World War II tanks, besides, Cold Wars, I've decided to make a video of my own personal thing on the tier 10s and 9s, also including some of the comments that people say to me from YouTube to Facebook to other things to try to describe, tier 10s and why they do it and give them a little answer on my part. So, let's start with some of them right now, honestly. Now, the first question I always get all the time, and this is something that I have to probably better address this, is Fury. My tank makes money. So, in case you don't know, I usually, when I review a tier 10, I usually say, like, oh, tier 10s don't make a lot of money. They don't. It's just, they basically make very equal status and not really a lot, so you can go negative. So you're probably saying to yourself, like, my tier 10 premium can make money, my other 10 can make money. When I usually say, when tier 10s don't make money, I didn't mean, like, also, like, they're not capable of anything, they just go negative all the time and no matter what you do. No, they do. What I mean, for people that don't know, is that it doesn't have a statistic chart sheet of making stats better than a standard tank. So let's just take any tank in the game. Every tank in the game has 100% silver earning, 100% XP earning to every tank in the game. Okay, you would think, like, well, what is the deal with that? If that's all 100%, why do we need premium tank? Well, just hang on. Most premium tanks in the game, let's take for example the Hydrostat, Ragnarok, and all them, the highest money making tanks. Their percentage of silver earning is up to 175%. Mind you, 175%. So in other words, 75% more than a standard tank. Meaning, no matter what you do in the Ragnarok, Minute something, and the Hydrostat, I don't have the tanks things in front of me, um, they make the most money in the game. They, like, make buku bucks for what they do. Now, granted, like, other tanks can do better making money for premium tanks if you're really good at it. That's fine. They have a percentage to do that. If you have to look it up at World of Tanks online, pull up your favorite tank, and then look at the stats on the side on the internet. They used to sell it in game, which is really dumb why they don't do it anymore. I tried finding it in game, but they don't, like, have it in actual game, which is really stupid wargaming. You need to put that back so people can actually see the statistic charts of how much silver and how much XP or any bonuses it comes with it, because there's some tanks that have bonuses. Take, for example, T34 or 30, T32 prototype. Sorry, got a tongue twister there. T32 prototype has a literally a 5 or 10% free XP earning tank on it, more than any other premium tank. So, and then there's some tanks that train your tanks better. There's some that has ridiculous crew XP training things. But then there's some that don't make money, but you could put two different nations in a tank. So where you can put like, French and Germans in one tank, or Russia and Americans in this tank, or Chinese or American in the other tank without paying gold. That's what I mean. Every tank has a different stats. So when you look at tier 10 premium tanks, however, when you see their stat, their silver earning is at still 100%. Meaning I could take a tier 8, go out to the battlefield, do something completely stupid, die, which is, I know that's dumb, but just imagine if you're in a tier 10 game and you can't do anything anyways, I'll still walk away with something. Tier 10s, on the other hand, and 9s, premiums, you gotta do something. If you don't do anything, you lose money. You lose money completely. And that is like something really bad for something you pay real life money on. Because why would you want something that's going to hurt your economy in World of Tanks? That is really dumb. That's what I believe in. When I say like it doesn't make money and you can go negative, I mean is like if you're an average player and you don't know the game really well and you bought a tier 10 tank, you're just going to screw your economy more because you actually have to physically know the tank, which is a huge problem. This is why I wish like test driving were a thing in this game. So that like War Thunder has. War Thunder has a test driving simulator so you can actually test it. Although they're just sitting around tanks that you shoot at or one tank moving around, that sucks, but it's better than what we have in World Tanks where we can't study the tank.
Honestly, I understand how some people say, like, oh, I don't know what you mean by, you don't make money. I've been making money, no problem. Okay, but just because you make money with one thing doesn't mean that everyone else will make money doing the same thing,
Right.
you know?
It depends on the
Because everyone
tank
has
as
different
well.
play styles, yeah, exactly. So you can't just sit there and be like, oh, well, I make money, so why don't you make money?
Yeah,
Because
and
then at that
everybody's
point, you're just throwing so many variables out of the window.
I'm with a mind of Chunk where I believe like it's not a one size fit all thing. It's depending on, like Chunk said, it could different variables, the map, how long you're alive, whether you die in the first 10 minutes, first 5 minutes, first 10 seconds. Everyone has their own play styles. Some like being up close, some like being far away. It's really nuanced. It just depends on, the person and other shit that people don't take into consideration.
so. That being said, that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't have silver earnings. You can make money in it, but it does not ever have like what a premium tier 8 or any of the era tanks do. And I'll get to that personal topic in a minute, but it's funny when I compare the era tanks with World War II. So, okay, so question two. So this one's like interesting to me because it's like what I just said earlier. It's like the question starts off, and I'm not saying who they are. I'm sorry, I should have made that point. I'm not saying who they are because I want to save their identity because I don't want people to go to them saying like mean things to them. But the other question is like Fury. Some of the tanks in this game's like a lot of my friends have already succeeded past me. I just played the game, so getting a tier 10 prime tank would be suffice for the game, especially when my friends play 10s all the times. Is that so wrong? No, like, see, this is what I mean. I don't judge you for getting a tier 10. I'm just saying I'm pissed off at it because of how much gold those motherfucking wargaming's ass. I mean, we're talking about like let's crunch the number real quick, and I will go back to your question, sir. I'm sorry. I just want to like make that clear. When we look at tier 10s, the lowest I've seen a lot is like 18 or 17,000 gold. That is not cheap. I mean, if you compare the price of the highest gold bundle, if you don't do the crate cheats, which I do when you have every tank, if you're a beginner, you have to buy max gold. Because 18,000 gold, even if it's just 80 bucks for some people out there, you gotta include taxes. So chances are you have to pay the 25,000 gold. And 25,000 gold is 19, is pretty much $100. There is no getting around that. Plus tax. So if you really think about that, that is stupidly outrageous for a vehicle that has no earnings. Now, and I'm gonna get this thing in the comment section as well. It's like hit two birds with one stone, and the other one is so if we allowed tens to have premium earnings, why then everybody would play tier tens? Now that's an ignorant point. I'm trying to answer this question as well, and you're right, and you're right. If we have tier 10 tanks driving around with premium earnings, then World War II would be screwed up. Nobody would want to play 8s anymore. Nobody will want to play, 9s anymore. Because chances are, what's the point when you could play the highest tier tank in the game and make money like left and right up to like so much money? And the thing is I find stupid is, yeah, I can see where you're coming at. But here's another problem. Like, to me, if that is the case, to keep people from playing tier 10s, why don't they fucking do that in Cold War? Or why not just, make tier 10s really cheap, like 6,000 gold? Because if you're going to buy a tank that has no earnings whatsoever, what is the point of spending that type of money on a tier 10 when in reality, you're not making much as a Cold War tank? It's so stupid. Now, I'll go back to the other question real quick, where is it wrong to buy a tank to play with your buddies? Now, like I said, I don't judge people when they do their things. If they want to buy it just to play with people, I understand that. What hurts me the most is you can't even test drive it, like I just said a few minutes ago. You can't, see if the tank is good. You have to go by what I do as a tank reviewer. I am, to that along with other people, or Mighty Jingles or everybody. But the problem is, no one can tell you how good it is. You have to play by experience. I can talk all day, like for example, I can talk all day about an E100, how to play it, how to maneuver it, what's its weakness, and stuff like that. And then there's someone out there that would say that I'm wrong because they play their tank differently and they do well. Okay, that's fine. It's like the T76, the TD that was really broken with people with 3 stars. They'll tell you it plays good. I can't do it worth the life of me. That's my point. Is the problem is how outrageously the price tag is. We don't even know if it's good or bad, and we can't tell by paper. Because like my friend Mighty Jingles, and I'm going to bring him up because he brought up an interesting point on one tank long ago. He was reviewing the IS-6 at the time. Do you all remember the first time IS-6 came out? So when you look at the IS-6 in paper, like Wargaming's expecting you to do here, the tank looked like it was a piece of shit. I mean, you had, what, only 120 millimeter angle armor and 100 millimeters all around the tank. That is, pathetically awful. But, as he mentioned in the video, if you actually angled the armaments like it says, the tank was a fucking beast at the time. And he was right. That tank was broken to a lot of 7s, to the point where 7s thought, they were doing something wrong, or the tank was just too OP, because the angle reduces that armaments. Now, it doesn't tell you that in World of Tanks about the reduced angle armaments or the maxed out penetration you have from angle shots. It just tells you the basic armaments. And that's a problem, because when you're looking at tier 10s, for example, and you're trying to buy one, or free XP one, it's it's so stupid how they just here's the paper chart, here's some numbers to try to see how it is, go ahead and play the game. But that doesn't work half the time. We already proven that time and time again with tanks in the past that other tank reviewers done that showed papers isn't everything. Sometimes you have to actually experience the tank, and the deadly, sadly scary thing is, when you experience a tier 10, you don't know if it's good or bad. And then when you pay $100, you're going to get screwed over because you don't even know if it's going to be a perfect tank to play. And that sucks, really. If Wargaming just let us play the tank for a week, no earning thing or whatever, so people can just enjoy it and see if they like it, and then if they like it, then they can pay the full price. Like, that's my point, how dumb this company is and how outrageously greedy, why I hate it so much, and why I try to prevent people from buying tier 10s right off the bat, because honestly, it's not worth your money. If they're not going to put the effort to show you how much your $100 is worth it, then what is the point of giving them $100 if you basically are buying a tank that you have no idea if it's good or bad? So I'm just saying to that point. So I'm trying to answer two stories. So the other question too, like, I'm sorry to the other person, I will get to your question now. So he's saying, like, is it a bad idea thing? And I just said no many times. Honestly, I don't have a huge problem with tanks in tier 10s because you could just free XP them too. Yeah, like, that's the thing I like about with World Warships and World Tanks with some tier 10s. Even though it has no value earnings or no anything, you could still free XP it if you save enough over time. If you never use your free XP at all, you can just easily get a tier 10 just like that, and you would be happy. But then again, they won't tell you if it's good or bad because you have to look at this stupid paper and be like, this is good, this is bad, I don't know. This is like fucking so much free XP I'm wasting, and I don't even know if it's good or not. That's my point why I don't like 10 so much. Ugh, sorry, I'm getting off track of going to marketing. And this whole video is about tier 10s thing, but this is how I feel when I see it. So, my apologies. So, of course, I answered this question, like, is free XP in a tank the same thing like getting an actual tank? Well, I just said it. I think it's better to do it free XP way than buying gold and doing the free XP or buying gold to get a tank. And I find this very funny, too, because everybody says it will be broken if they give the tier 10s and 9s actual money earnings. Well, there is one tier 9 that has money earnings, and that's the black version of the, I think it's the TS, something American. Sorry, don't have it on screen right now. I'm just talking through a mic right now at the table, just trying to give a video. And yeah, that tier 9 makes money, but it's like, but what is the point of it? Because I've looked at the numbers of the new tank that came out. It's like the Desert Warrior, the ultimate Bradley with some spatial armaments, yada yada yada. Or it could be the British version of it, I don't know, but it's like a Bradley. And then when I see it, and this is an Era 3 tank, mind you. Era 3 is like the maximum tier in this entire game for Cold War. It's like the king of all tanks in every scenario. Modern day tanks. My generation, your guys' generation of tanks. And I find it funny because when you look at the Desert Warrior tank and you see the price tag, for just the tank alone, it's $13,750. And then when I look at World War II in the tier 10 with the new tank called the Nemesis MBT, which is a British tank, which I think it really sucks, but that's my opinion. You look at that and it's $18,250.
Like the cost of the tank itself outweighs how much money you make with it.
I was going to say my input is that it's most likely, like other people will say, just greed. It just boils down to greed, you know, because they realize that if people that want tier 10 premium tier 10s, you know, they don't want to work for it. They could just, you know, pay $75-$80 or however much they are to get one.
$80. Try like 100. I mean, crunch the numbers real quick and compare the two generations of different tanks. Okay, let's just compare the two. So you got Cold War tank, extremely cheap, light armor tank with tow missiles versus the tier 10 tank. Cold War is going to win no matter what. Because here's the problem. Like, when you go to Cold War and they lock the tiers in place, like, then the Desert Warrior goes only fighting era, you know, the tier 3s. Obviously, yeah, whoop-de-doo Fury, because it's like tier 10's going the same. But hear me out. That tank makes money it has a silver earning. So when you're fighting high tiers, you're walking away if you do good. And if you like the tank, or if you fuck up, you're making money. You're making money. That's the end of the day. If you're putting your money and investments into something, you're making money. You're just like, boom, I made money. Boom, I made money. Like things like that. Like you're making money into the game to where you could enjoy the tank more. You can come back and keep playing it. You can use it to invest your stocks into other tanks that are standard in the game. What does World War II offer you? Oh, it gives you the tier 10 Nemesis. Okay. And you only get a 5 plus XP. That's it. There's no silver earning, so it's a standard tank like any other tier 10 tanks in the game for any earning money. You have to do good in it in order to make the investments, and if you suck, you lose money because there is no premium bonus to you. There's no premium bonus, and there's no premium, like, at all anything to recover that loss. And they can easily fix the tier 10 premiums and make it worth the money if they just add the +1 -1 matchmaking. If they frickin' do that and give the tier 9s and 10 premiums, money earnings, shit, then people would want to buy the World War II tanks, because not a lot of people are fans of the Cold War tanks because of True Vision and all that. I understand that and respected that. But unfortunately, as the reality is, 10s just don't cut it. 10s lose so much money. It needs premium days to cover the losses. It needs to fire standard rounds only. It needs to watch out for its consumables, otherwise it goes negative. Now, we go down to the last and final question about tier 10s, because I'm trying to make this video short. I'm not trying to make it ridiculously long, but and this hurts me the most out of all the questions. Okay, you ready? Hear this. So, if I bought a tier 10 premium tank, it doesn't matter to me because I got a Cold War premium tank. That means anytime I play my tier 10 premium tank with my friends, I can just recover the losses by playing Cold War single match single-handedly in one game to cover all the silver loss through that type of tank. Yeah, I have a problem with that statement. So, let me get this straight, person. So, you're justifying paying $100 of a tank that doesn't have any silver earnings. So you could go to Cold War, to where I just said how the Era 3 tanks and stuff and 2 and 1 make money because they didn't remove their silver earnings. You could just go there and cover the cost of whatever tier 10 you've been playing a whole week to go there. So what is the whole point of buying the frickin' tier 10? Like, seriously, if you got that mindset where silver is not a problem, then what is the point of earning a tier 10 premium tank? What is the point playing them then? Yes, you probably grind it, but you're already at the max tier anyway, so what's the point of playing a tier 10 game if you're just justifying the fact that you just spent money in the game just to go to Cold War to cover that cost? That doesn't sound fun. That doesn't sound like a plan out thing or an excuse of owning a tier 10 premium tank. If you're going to waste money on a tank that's going to burn your credits in game to just play World War II, then what is the point of having the said tank to cover the costs? Now, I know what you're all going to say in the comments. Playing with friends with tier 10s when I don't have it. I get that. I really do. And this is like a double-edged sword that anyone could fall in this loop plot hole bigger than a fucking mouse. This like plot hole is big as a mouse to dive right in. But I'm just saying, to me, as a normal person, just looking at all these things, and you're justifying it by saying, oh, I just got this, and I just still use Cold War to cover the costs. Like, really think about that, how you say that. I want you to really sit down and really think about how you said that. Because at the end of the day, if you're just sitting down justifying paying your own money Mind you, this day and age and economy, it is so fucking hard to put food on the table nowadays. It is so hard to do anything like that. Just saying, like, I'm just speaking out for the people of the people. You guys out there that's suffering. My loyal fans, my friends that I love to dear. It's like, at the end of the day, you can't really justify saying that you just bought a tier 10 tank just to only have Cold War cover its costs. That's not fun. And reality's checked, honestly, what they really should do, if you want to enjoy your tier 10, have +1 -1 matchmaking and give the tier 9s and 10s silver earnings for that. Now, 8 premium tanks may go extinct because 9s might dominate a little bit and 10s may dominate the 9s. But the reality is, like, at this point, if you're going to make us spend a lot of money on a tier 10 that doesn't have any potential value of earnings out of all the tier 10 premiums, then what is the point? What is the point of getting them at the end of the day? And that's what the question is. What is the point? Honestly, I really think they're not worth it. They're not worth your time of things like that. If you need a tier 10 to play with friends, I understand that. I hope you get it with free XP, and I hope whatever you use all that free XP on is worth getting. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather you guys try to find loopholes and stuff to save your money than trying to buy all this stuff. Because it's pretty sad even Cold War can just get away with whatever tank they bring out and they make money, no matter what tank it is. It's like if you play a premium Cold War tank, if you even own a Cold War premium tank, you're set for life. Because they make so much fucking money that they cover every cost. And I hate that so much because people that's trying to work on their tanks, trying to do it, they don't give a fuck about their tanks anymore. There's no... That's another topic for another day, for stupidity of gameplay nowadays, but... So what do I think overall with this? Honestly, something has to majorly change with the tier 10s and 9s. Like, if we're going to be keep on getting tier 9s and 10 premium tanks every once in a while, we need to have them change to where they can actually be useful for the benefit of pretty much everybody who plays here. Because honestly, at the end of the day, it's like you're giving $100 for something stupid. And at this point, like, people are starting to wake up and realize this. I don't even see this tank on the battlefield. Even if I do barely, nobody knows how to play it. Nobody knows how to use it. And then they get obliterated. So, I'm not saying I want broken OP tanks that's going to be expensive. I just want to where buying tier 10s is beneficial. Not just saying you have a 10 to play with your buddies. Not just also, I just think, because going back to Cold War to fund the project and coming back, just lose it all again because you're just trying to play 10s with people. I understand you have to play tier 10s because you have to play the same tier as them. It's not like World of Warships where you can have one tier below. But I'm just saying, wargaming, something has to be changed. If we're going to be like doing all this, we need this change soon. It's time to wake up to reality that if you're going to put in a lot more 10s or something, we need to have some sort of guidelines. We need some sort of thing. But until then, I don't know if we ever will. Maybe they'll never do. You know, we're stuck with this forever loop of 10s coming in and they do absolutely nothing for beneficiary of people. But until then, I'm Fist of Fury 692, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Since we're all gentlemen here, we're all reasonable. We all equally hate each other all the time. So
Fucking German.
Damn, all right.
see, there we go. Hey, we're all. That's the beauty about America, isn't it? It's like literally like even I'm a foreigner. It's like we all equally hate each other. Case closed.